Hello, and thank you so much for joining me here. Whether you're new to my channel or whether you've been with me for a while, I'm really happy that you're here, especially if you're interested in the Hobonichi Techo. If you are already subscribed, you might have noticed that I'm doing a series of videos on the Hobonichi Techo, and I am currently waiting on my recent order, which is supposed to arrive next week, which is really exciting. And I just thought it would be fun to tell you a little bit about the covers that I have for my A6 size. And so I'll just be sharing a little bit about why I got each one. And also, towards the end, I'll talk a little bit about how they've held up over time and, just anything to keep in mind, just in case it's useful to anyone. So we can go ahead and get started. This is going to be a relaxed and chatty video, so feel free to join me in grabbing a cup of tea. I'm drinking Clipper's decaf organic tea, which is really nice, and I'm having that with a little bit of honey and oat milk. And just make yourself comfortable. I thought we'd start today with my first cover ever, which is this Nancy Ann Liberty Fabrics cover. And so I got this one in September of 2016. Back then, I had been using fountain pens for a few years, and I had heard that the Hobonichi Techo had really good paper for fountain pens. And so I decided that I wanted to give it a try. And I remember in late August, I looked at the website to see what was available for 2017. And I saw this cover and I fell in love with it right away. I just thought it was very pretty. I love this pattern with these beautiful flowers and berries that you can see here. And because it is a Liberty Fabrics cover, it does have actual fabric on the cover. This is a very, very soft cotton. And the print has held up beautifully. It's as vibrant as it was when I first got it. And so that's really nice to see. And another thing that attracted me to this cover was the inside. I thought that this light blue was very pretty as well. And something that I liked about the covers too was that they had all these pockets to store things. I thought that was just wonderful, and definitely one of the reasons why I've continued to use the Hobonichi. And something you can see here too is that I've used some of these to store. For example, this was a couple of exhibitions that I went to when I was living in Japan. And so these are a little bit larger than my Techo, I think. So I just store them right here. Something else to tell you is that I usually keep each Hobonichi Techo inside of the cover that I used for that year. But for the purpose of this video, I've taken them all out just to make it easier to show you the covers. And I also usually keep the cover on these just to protect them from any dirt or dust. And so this actually feels really nice to feel the different fabrics. You could probably tell that I have a preference for fabric covers. These are my favorites. I love just feeling the texture of the different covers. And so this is what I got for 2017, so the beginning of the journey. And then for 2018, I was actually, it's funny because I was torn between these two covers, but I'll talk about the first one that I got. So this one was my first pick for 2018, and this is the Koyaguchi Pile Fabric Hanajutan, and it's very beautiful. This was also at the time when I was living in Japan, and so I thought it was interesting to get, or that I would enjoy getting a cover that had this traditional fabric, from a traditional Japanese maker of these fabrics. And I think it was a wonderful choice. And I happen to love green, so I think that the greens in this cover are really beautiful. And I'm just going to try to show you the sheen. So it definitely has this very beautiful sheen to it. Yeah. And again, on the inside, I have a lot of things that I've accumulated. So we have little flyers, leaflets, business cards, and again, I just find these really useful for storing different things from each year. So I actually went to the Ghibli Museum. I don't know if you can see it, but it has some frames from one of the movies. This is Howl's Moving Castle, which is actually one of my favorites, so I got really lucky. And so for 2018, I was torn between these two. I ended up getting the Hanajutan first, and I also really like this cover, so I ended up getting this one as well. This is the Mina Perhonen Tori to Hana. And so birds and flowers, and you have the birds in the front and you have the flowers in the back, which is really, really pretty. I love the bookmarks on the Mina Perhonen covers as well. I thought they would get damaged very easily, but so far they've actually held up pretty well. And so I ended up using this one for I think the first half of 2018, and then I actually abandoned my original size Hobonichi in favor of Cousin Avec. So I ended up not using this cover so much that year, but I did pick it up again for 2019, and I used it for the first half of 2019. So I think this is why I have the 2019 leaflet in here as well. And then this one I actually ended up not using as much, but I ended up just inserting an A6 notebook, and that has worked very well for me. So even though I haven't used it for a whole year with my Hobonichi, I still get to use it with a notebook. So I'm definitely glad that I got this one, because it feels very unique, and I like the inside color as well. And it's very soft too. So then for 2019, so I mentioned I used this cover, the Hanajutan cover, for the first half of 2019. And then for the second half, I had this one, which had been sitting in a box, waiting for the right time to be used, and I ended up switching to this one, and so now I keep my 2019 Hobonichi Techo inside of this one. And this is also very beautiful, like the Tori to Hana. This is a Mina Perhonen, which you can see by the bookmarks, and this is called Peace Blue Mix, because it has different pieces of fabric that have been stitched together. And I think this is really beautiful. This was back when you had to enter a lottery in order to be able to get these covers. And just this year that has changed, which I think is really nice. But I got this one, and I actually entered the lottery for the spring cover that year, and I didn't get it. So I just stuck to this one. And this is also very pretty. I love the detail of the butterfly that is stitched on the inside. I think that's just such a sweet little detail. And then here, I also have some more leaflets. This one is actually from 2020, because so I moved to Europe in 2019, and I had my other Hobonichi covers in storage back in the States. And so for 2020, I ended up just getting an insert, and I guess I was trying to use this cover, just reuse it. And it ended up not working out so well for me that year. So I ended up just using the Traveler's Notebook horizontal weekly insert. And that worked well for me too, but I think that the following year I was really missing having a Hobonichi, and so I went back the following year. And so that takes us to the 2021 cover. But before that, I just want to say that this is really nice just in terms of the textures. Here you have some linen, you have the embroidery. Some of these are fuzzy. And also, one interesting feature about this cover is that depending just on chance, you would either get a rose, I think it was a white rose on a blue background, or you'd get a dandelion. And I feel very lucky because I got the dandelion, and I love dandelions, so just felt very happy about that. I really love this backside especially. And so then, like I was saying, because in 2020 I used the Traveler's Notebook, actually, even though I had bought a Hobonichi for 2020, I just, I wasn't able to really keep it up that well. And so I've saved some of the pages from it. But in 2021, I went back to the Hobonichi, and I actually went with this cover, which is the Imagine cover from Mina Perhonen as well. See the cute bookmarks, and this is actually a cover that I believe is from 2018, and so I had actually gotten this cover as a gift for a friend back when it was first released, and I liked it myself, but at the time I wasn't very fond of beige, and so I felt like this cover wasn't quite right for me at the time. But then some years later, I felt like I loved this print so much that, I just wanted to get it. And I think by chance too, Hobonichi happened to be selling some of the older covers. And so I got this straight from the website. And I just love how whimsical this pattern is with the animals. It's got a tree, it's got these mushrooms. I'm going to try to show it a little bit more up close. Hopefully you could see it. But so yeah, I love this cover. Yes, absolutely adore it. And here again, I have quite a few things inside. I actually showed this one recently on another Hobonichi video. So you can look at that if you'd like. But yeah, just different cards, business cards, even some stickers, and like a coaster that I got at a restaurant, which is really pretty. So that's what I used for 2021. And then after that, for 2022, I used the cover that I didn't get in 2021 because I had gotten the Imagine cover. And so this is the Liberty Fabrics Lockwood, which I got off of Amazon. And I'm really glad that I got this one because I just love the colors, like the soft turquoise, the dark green, and the pretty flowers. So I'm really happy to have this one. And I noticed that at a certain point, I can't actually remember which year it was, but at a certain point Hobonichi switched from, I'm going to show you, from PVC, no, not PVC, it's like a pleather interior for the Liberty Fabrics covers, and they switched to this, I guess, I'd say polyester fabric, and so quite a different feel to it, but it still feels like fabric, so I didn't mind the change, and I actually really like it. In this cover specifically, you could see that it has a beautiful sheen to it. So I thought this was a great choice actually for the inside. And again, as you can see, I'm collecting all sorts of things like business cards, little tags, and again, another coaster. I love getting coasters from special places. This was a place in Paris. And so, yeah, I really am glad that I went back and got this cover because it's certainly one of my favorites. And then I'm going to show you my 2023 cover. And again, this is a Mina Perhonen cover that I got. And it's actually a really funny story too, because, you know, back in 2022, when I was considering what to get for 2023, I was torn between these two covers. And, you know, I really like them both. And I was pretty certain that I was going to get this one, this Liberty Fabrics one. And I think right at the last minute, on the release day, I got this one from Stilo e Stile, and I just decided that this was the right one for me. And I'm really glad that I got it because it's very beautiful. I can't remember exactly, but I think this might be a linen background, and then with this beautiful stitching on top. So this is the Anemone cover. Very beautiful with all the flowers lined up. And again, a lot of stuff in the pockets. Oh, I think I have another coaster. Let me show you. This is from a coffee shop in New Delhi, I think. Third Wave Coffee. Yes, definitely New Delhi. And it was, yeah, charming little place. And yeah, I'm really glad that I got this cover. I was at a meditation retreat in India for 5 months. And so I'm glad that I got to have this cover there with me and document some of my adventures. And then after I came back from India, I still like this cover quite a bit. So I decided to try and get one, and so I got this one from the Hobonichi website. And you know, I think my first pick was actually the best one because I think that in the end the anemone serves me better, but this one is still very pretty. This is the Betsy neon cover from Liberty Fabrics, and it's very beautiful. I just feel like the fluorescent, it really is very strong. And so I'm not used to having such fluorescent things in my life anymore. So I'm still sitting with it, seeing how I feel about it. I think I would like to use it in a future year. So I am going to save it and see when I have a chance to use it. But it is very cute, and I have to say I absolutely love the inside of this cover. I just find the lilac to be such a soft and beautiful shade. So I'd really like to use this in the future. And for now, I also have a few things that I've gotten. I think I might have had a notebook in here, but at the moment I'm not using anything, so we'll see if I end up using it or not. I actually did have another Liberty Fabrics cover, which was the Poppy Forest, and to be honest, I feel like that year I didn't pick the right one, so I just sold it recently and let it go because it wasn't really sparking joy. And so I just didn't want to have anything on my bookshelf that didn't really make me excited to see it every day. So these are my A6 covers. This is all that I have at the moment. And in terms of wear and tear, I have to say that they've actually held up really nicely, especially the older ones. But I do want to mention that I do use a cover-on-cover the whole year that I use them, and then I also keep them stored on my bookshelf with a cover-on-cover. So I feel like that just helps to keep them really nice and clean But I just want to point out that this one over here, this one apparently is a genuine leather inside, and the butterfly stoppers have gotten a little bit worn out. And so I'm just going to show you a close-up as well, just to let you know what that looks like. It is pretty subtle, and actually the inside still looks great, so it's really just a little bit of an issue with the butterfly stoppers. But it's interesting because a lot of people have said that they've had trouble with the pleather butterfly stoppers, but I actually haven't had that problem so much. I don't know if it was the way that I had my pen in there, or yeah, I don't know. I haven't had that problem as much. I'm going to show you this one too. Oh, this one got a little bit dirty, but no cracking whatsoever, which is nice. And yeah, so there we have it. Again, I'm really impressed that they've held up so nicely, and very happy to have these in my collection. So as I wait for my order, this is just a great time to, tap into some gratitude for what I already have. And, hopefully you've enjoyed this too. Definitely let me know if you have any questions, any comments, whether you have a favorite among these or a favorite of your own. And I hope to see you next time.